Welcome back, everyone. I don't normally speak considering I'm having some vocal cord issues, but since this is more of a learning video than anything else, I felt that I needed to talk to you a little bit about this. So this is a pearl pour, and this is a 12 by 12 canvas. Now, I've been away for a while and I haven't done a pearl pour in a while. So my ratios, I must have been way off. My pearl mixture took over my color, and I think that I diluted quite a bit more than I probably should have. So the idea was I wanted a taupe background, and I will have the ratios of my paint mixtures in the description below. But I added a little bit of satin enamels taupe to my pearl mixture because I wanted more of a beige color. Excuse me. And my idea was to go for more of a coral with some deep teal in it, and I thought it would be really pretty. Now I did test my colors. I always put my pearl mixture down on a tile, and then I lay a strip of each color. If there's a halo around that color, odds are that the pearl mixture is going to react with that particular paint, which means you can get pearls within that color. If you do not get a halo, that means that it is not going to react. You're not going to get pearls in that color. Excuse me. So when I did my test, the coral didn't react. So I thought, okay, well, I'm going to get some coral in here, which in turn, in the end, I decided I really didn't like the coral, but that's besides the point. I must not have adding the satin enamels to the pearl pour mix, which is a combination of Floetrol, Artist Loft White. I put in a little bit of bare satin enamels, or bare satin. But then when I wanted a little bit of a more taupey color, I added a little bit of taupe satin enamels by Deco Art. I'm not sure if that made it a lot more reactive, but as you can tell, excuse me, by the picture, it totally took over. So, you'll see. And it ended up being a very pretty color. But when I came in this morning to take the picture, once it was fully dry, all my color was gone. It was just gone. And I thought, whoa, that was a total takeover. So here I'm just touching up the edges of the canvas. As you can tell, I don't know if you could tell by the pictures previously, but my base color is more of a beige. I wanted a softer look. Now I usually put down a little bit of black, Artist Loft Black, because that I have found is one of the more reactive brands, is Artist Loft. So the idea was to have some pearls on the edge, but have most of my color remain. That didn't help. So it's been a while, like I said, since I've done a pearl pour. I felt like I took a good majority of the base coat off of there. I'm not sure, excuse me, if lots of goobers in this paint too. I have noticed that since it's been a couple of months since I've really gotten into the studio, a lot of my product, such as the bare satin. There was only about an inch left in the can, and I don't think it was closed as well as it should have been. It was a little goopy, so that is going to have to be replaced. I don't know if that had anything to do with the reaction, that it was older. So I layered a cup because I don't like my flat out colors. I like it to blend a little bit. So I layered a cup with my colors. And right here I am laying down a little bit of black, the Artist Loft black, thinking that's going to react more than anything else. Because remember, the goal is I wanted some pearls on the outside, maybe a little bit in the middle. But yeah, it was a total takeover. So if you're going for the look of a total pearl takeover, this is definitely the way to go. However, my pearls did end up breaking up quite a bit. There was some fragmenting in there. That tells me that I added too much water. So be careful with that. I thought it was a great consistency. I like to go for like a melted ice cream type of, but I think that this went a little bit too much. So here I'm thinking I want a little bit of contrast throughout. Let's add a little bit more. That was the dark teal, the dark blue. Let's add a little bit of the Artist Loft white here. I'm thinking we're gonna have some contrast a little bit. You know, like I said, I don't really like the look of the solid colors. I like a little bit of a blend. And when I poured that out, it looked a little too solid to me. So I thought, all right, I'm gonna do a little bit of drips in here, maybe a design. That would be kind of cool. So I'm thinking, okay, let's move these aside. Let's start tilting it out. Now, when I tilt out, I like to try to keep primarily most of my color in the center of the, I'm thinking, do I want more? I like to try to keep most of my color in the center of the canvas. Maybe just bring off the edges a little bit. If I've got too much paint in the middle, I pick my least favorite edge and dump the rest of the paint off of the edge there. Because the more paint you have on the canvas, it's going to be thicker, therefore you're not going to have as many pearls. Maybe I dumped too much. I'm not sure. So when I begin tilting, I look at the contrast and I think, okay, which part do I like the least? So I was thinking the orange down in the bottom, mixed in with the blue. I'm not a big fan of that. So my thought was, I like these other sides. I'm just going to drip it off the side just a little bit. But most of my tilt is going to be that corner, because I'm not real crazy about that corner. I love the shadowing in here so far. See, let's get rid of that. Blech. Don't like that at all. And I like that. I love negative space. I think that looks really sharp right there. But this is when I realize I still have a little bit too much paint on this canvas. Now, when the paint is thinner, the thinner the paint, the faster it's going to dry, the less likely of cracking. But I was thinking, there's still quite a bit of paint on there. Now, you can tell I've already started getting some pearls on this. So once you start getting the pearls, you really want to minimize your tilting, because then they start getting wonky, and I'm not a big fan of the wonky pearls. So if I start getting wonky pearls, sometimes you'll see me totally I'll just tilt them right off. But I'm sitting here thinking, okay, that looks good. Okay, so I'm taking off my gloves. Let's take a look at this, maybe fix up some edges a little bit. We'll torch it to make sure we've got all the bubbles out. And this should have been my indication, excuse me, right here, that my paint was too thin. Because when I lightly went over it, I started to notice in my base that it was, it almost looked like I was scorching the paint. So here is 20 minutes later. As you can tell, the pearls are already losing their minds and just eating up all of my paint. But at this point, there was still quite a bit of color. There was still some great coral in there with a hint of the teal. I lost most of the darker one. But